The video opens with an immediate jolt, a cold shock that pulls the audience straight into the heart of Cat Matlala's testimony, describing the moment he realized something was terribly wrong during the raid that changed the national conversation. The opening lines highlight the eerie silence, the sudden eruption of chaos, and the creeping disbelief that settled over him as he tried to understand why armed, masked men were storming the property. This is delivered with intensity, offering no comfort, only confusion and raw fear, which instantly grips the viewer. From there, the tease builds a sense of impending revelation. The audience is informed that what they are about to hear goes far beyond a single man's story. It is a puzzle of hidden motives, conflicting accounts, and unspoken truths buried beneath official statements. The video hints that the most unsettling part of the story is not the raid itself, but what came afterward, the new voices stepping forward, the information that suddenly surfaced, and the unexplained gaps in the timeline that fuel a debate across the country. Before the first minute ends, the engagement spark challenges the viewer directly by posing a question that has become central to the unfolding drama. What does a nation do when a single testimony forces everyone to question the version of events they had quietly accepted? The viewer is drawn into an emotional reflection about trust, fear, and the thin line that separates criminal threat from state action. The narrative then moves into its main body, beginning with the moment Matlala realized the raid was not a random attack by criminals but something more coordinated, something more official, something he was never prepared for. His instinct to run toward the police station, desperate for help, sets the tone for a larger conversation about confusion and miscommunication, portrayed with vivid tension and urgency. As the story continues, a surprising detail from an internal police document emerges, revealing a contradiction that was never publicly addressed. That piece of information acted like a spark hitting dry grass, instantly igniting public suspicion. This contradiction is presented not as a formal accusation, but as a natural point of curiosity that shaped how people began interpreting the entire incident. The pacing remains energetic as the narrative shifts into a cinematic recounting of the scene. Matlala sprinting into the station, breathless, panicked, trying to explain what he had witnessed, only to see uncertainty flash across the officers' faces. The shock in their reaction mirrored his own fear, and that moment became a defining part of his testimony. The storyline deepens by revisiting a past raid in a different community, a moment that resurfaced in the public memory as soon as Matlala spoke out. Although unrelated, the parallels revealed how certain patterns repeat themselves, stirring suspicions that never fully disappear. This comparison emphasizes the collective memory that communities carry long after the headlines fade. The discussion then explores the ripple effect created when Matlala's comments began circulating online. What started as a small clip turned into a wildfire across social media, spreading faster than authorities could respond. It altered conversations in households, in taxis, in political spaces, making the entire nation look twice at the narrative they had been given. With perfect momentum, the video transitions into an exploration of how modern raids have evolved into events that no longer fit old definitions. The presence of video recordings, civilian witnesses, and rapid online sharing blurs the boundaries between legitimate operations and frightening invasions, creating an atmosphere of heightened public sensitivity. A dual revelation emerges next, introducing two unexpected developments that reshape the story. Previously unseen footage surfaced in official hands, and witnesses from the scene stepped forward with accounts that contradicted one another. These two discoveries intensified the controversy and forced journalists and investigators to reconsider everything. The storyline continues to build with a metaphor comparing the information flow to falling dominoes. Once the first contradiction fell, the rest followed, collapsing certainty and exposing new doubts. From there, the narrative invites a former officer's recollection of a raid that went wrong years ago, offering a human perspective on how quickly operations can unravel and how easily they can be misinterpreted. At the midpoint, the narrator briefly pauses to invite viewers to subscribe if they want more deep investigations and storytelling around events that shape national conversations. The call to action is short, energetic, and positioned exactly where the format requires. The second half of the video opens with a fresh question. What were authorities truly expecting to find during the raid, and why does the official explanation leave so many people unconvinced? This leads into the discovery of a leaked memo revealing internal disagreements regarding the raid, a document that was never meant to reach the public. That revelation introduces a layer of complexity that most viewers would not have anticipated. The tension rises as the narrative walks through the moment investigators questioned Matlala, describing the subtle shifts in tone, the hesitation in responses, and the quiet moments that hinted at deeper discomfort. This is followed by the perspective of a criminologist, whose expert commentary helps explain why operations of this nature often produce more confusion than clarity. The story intensifies again when a confidential note exposes the real reasoning behind the officer's decision not to announce themselves during the operation, a detail that instantly changes how the public perceives the entire event. The video continues by allowing a resident from a neighboring community to share how that night altered their trust in law enforcement. The narrative then turns toward the future, examining how the rise of body cameras, surveillance systems, and instant sharing platforms will transform the way these operations are judged. It paints a picture of a world where every raid becomes part of a broader public archive, scrutinized more intensely than ever before. The final twist arrives as another private document surfaces, challenging the official reasoning and reigniting public debate. The storyline closes with a powerful metaphor likening the entire controversy to a wildfire that began with a single spark, Kat Matlala's testimony, and expanded until institutions, communities, and national conversations were reshaped around it. As the video approaches its end-screen lead, the conclusion weaves together the emotional and political weight of everything revealed. It explains how one man's frightened sprint to a police station became the starting point for a nationwide conversation, exposing deeper questions about trust, power, communication, and the fragile boundary between protection and fear. The ending offers a smooth transition into the next investigative story, without breaking the narrative rhythm. The outline closes with the required final statement that nothing in the video should be taken as professional advice, and that viewers should consult qualified experts when necessary.